What's up, everybody? Today we are joined by Jamie Parker, the co-founder of Canadian Heritage Roasting Company, and we are talking all things coffee, Calgary, Canadian heritage, and Western Canadian identity. Let's get into it. The antithesis to it is the idea of unity. And unity is something that you define in a positive state, not in a contrast to other things that exist. Like, I think that, the values that make this place unique and those kinds of things. So
absolutely.
That's something I think about a lot. And to me, it's kind of like a curiosity of, I wonder what other people think. Like,
totally. Why me?
Why you?
Yeah.
So why? Well, so I was saying something the other day. I was like, I think I have like a radar for it, like where I can just tell when someone is like I don't need to talk to somebody for very long before I understand that this is an important thing for them. At least right now, it might just because it's some sort of at the surface, but it also could be the name of your company.
Ah, yes.
So
that's fair.
Canadian Heritage Roasting Company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right? Sometimes that is roasting. Not roasters.
Yeah, roasting.
Yeah, Canadian Heritage Roasting.
It's the most confusing name ever.
It's a long name.
Yeah, you should see our email.
Yeah.
People hate it.
But I don't know. I saw the title and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like, here's somebody who thinks about, like, if you're putting something like that as the name of your business, which is basically saying like, this is the thing I care about the most. As an entrepreneur, like, whatever you name your company is like a short prayer in some ways. So like, what does it mean to you, I guess?
What is it? Are we rolling?
Oh yeah, we're always rolling.
Oh, sweet. Always rolling.
Yeah. Like what's give me the backstory on the company maybe. And then.
Yeah, I can. So pretty much, we got started up the ideation kind of came about in 2014. I was wrapping up my second last year of wildfire. And so I used to be on a Rappel Alberta wildfire.
Rap Attack.
Rap Attack, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Rap Attack before they unfortunately disbanded it.
They don't do that anymore?
No.
Oh,
no.
Wow. That was like the last Cowboys.
We can get into that. We can get into
Okay.
that a little bit more because I'm not too happy about it, but it is what it is. So, kind of wrap that up. And I felt like I was like super lost. I'd finished university actually in 2014. I was in my last final semester. It was actually just the fall semester. I only had 3 courses left. I'd saved them for just options and then
just credits.
Just credits, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm taking the easiest class and I'm just gonna hunt.
Nice.
All fall.
Yeah.
And it was kind of during that hunting trip where I was like really just working through like, what the hell am I gonna do, right? And I could continue to do wildfire. I can make good money there, but you're gone for 8 months of the year, and you can't. It's hard to hold down a relationship or even family relationships for that matter because you're gone through the sunniest, nicest parts of the year, and then you're back for winter for 4 months, and a lot of the individuals in those 4 months, they would travel or pick up work or whatever. But so, and you're on the line for 15 to 24 days
in a row,
and you're working 14-hour days as well and sleeping in a tent at night, or so you don't have and you're in like terrible reception zones as well. And back in 2014 it was even worse.
Yeah, it's probably a bit different now, but
yeah. So it was kind of one of those jobs where I was like, okay, this is amazing. It was my favorite thing I've ever done, but it was kind of one of the decisions I had to make was like, where am I going from here? Am I staying in it? If I stay, I have to probably move to Edmonton and then work through the provincial system there because everything's based out of Edmonton, and climb the ranks. And they had a stipulation back then. They don't have it now, but you couldn't use your university degree to like work up in rank in wildfire. You had to go to NAIT or SAIT and get a forestry tech degree. So I was like, I'm not going back to school for forestry tech just to get into here. So, so I was kind of at this like crossroads of my life, and I was kind of at the same time I had fought some. Actually, I was in 2013, I came down and I helped out with the floods, and we worked
Oh, cool.
alongside the military SARTEC units for quite some time, and that had really piqued my interest, and so I was kind of juggling like, okay, do I go into the military? Do I do SARTEC? And I went through all of their officer like application and whatnot to get to a final stage where it was like, okay, sign on the dotted line. And the only contract that they were offering me was an 8-year contract. And I was like,
You had to fully commit for
fully
8
commit for
years.
8 years. So I would have been 32 by the time I got out. And I was just thinking about it. And I'm like, God dang, like I just finished a 4-year degree and that felt like a lifetime.
Yeah,
so,
no kidding.
spending 8 years, I'm sure it would have been great, but so I decided
It's
to
just a
not,
big commit.
yeah,
That's
to
all.
not kind of go down that path. And I was also through the application process with CFD at the time. I was kind of like throwing my hat in a number of areas. So Calgary Fire Department, I got all the way to the end, and then Nenshi, I think in the city, they did a big budget cut, and then they rolled out all the firefighters that were in the
Yeah.
classes. So that for me, kind of like set up my decision. And I had already known that I was going to create Calgary Heritage, or it's Canadian Heritage now, but our coffee shop is called Calgary Heritage because
Oh, okay.
we want it to be regionally recognized. But
Yeah. But at a retail level, you're going across the country.
correct, yeah. And in Vancouver, they don't really like it if it says Calgary on the bag,
Yeah,
or
that's right.
yeah. So we made a little pivot there.
Yeah, that's wise.
But ultimately, the idea came from an elk hunting trip, and I was up near Sundre, and I just got back after a couple days. I was actually doing solo elk hunting for 5 days, and when you get to spend that much time by yourself,
Yeah.
it starts to work with your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
And my one buddy, he came out for the last couple days, and we were on an awesome herd of elk, and he got really close the one morning, and he wasn't able to take a shot because he was shaking so bad. so we ended up going back to camp afterwards, and we kind of just debriefed on it over percolated pot of coffee.
Oh,
And
nice.
so we're doing percolating up this pot of coffee, and we're like, damn, that was the best day ever, and best morning ever. And I'm like, this is what it's all about. I'm like, this is like what makes Alberta so special.
Yeah.
And something that had bugged me so much is like every time I'd get off tour fighting wildfire, I come back and I visit these coffee shops. And I grew up in Calgary ever since I was 1. My dad was in the military, moved us here to the base when I was 1 years old, and I remember every time I'd come back, I'd go to these coffee shops and I'm like, this is not the Calgary I know. Like everything was starting to get pretentious. You'd go in and get a coffee if you wanted cream in it. Baristas were giving you the
Side
eyes,
eye.
yeah, side eye with their septum piercing and green hair. And so, sorry if I'm a little more forthcoming,
No, that's
but
fine.
it drove me crazy
I can
because
picture it.
I grew up in, I don't know, I grew up when it was like the biggest little city, and
Yeah.
community meant something. There's block watch everywhere, and you play hockey out in the streets and come home when the lights are dark. And if you even if you don't come home when the lights are dark, you just get in trouble. And yeah, like your parents are calling friends of friends to be like, "Where's my kid?"
Yeah. But not
And
really worried.
yeah,
They're
not
just trying
really
to figure
worried.
out who'd
Yeah,
have to. Yeah.
yeah, and it was just it felt really good, and it had a very Western vibe, and that's something I've always cherished about Calgary and Alberta in general is, you know, it's a place of hardworking people, and I wanted to kind of make a stand and bring that back, kind of refresh it and rejuvenate that feeling and that culture, that outdoorsy. I wanted to ultimately like, how can I marry the outdoors and adventuring into coffee? And if I could create a product and put it on the shelf that would elicit an emotional response from our customers, so they see it on the shelf, and it to them it might remind them of their dad or their mom or grandpa, or out on the range, or hiking or camping or fishing, whatever it is.
Drinking out of one of those
As
blue
Yeah,
enamel
but
cups. Like,
as soon as they see it on the grocery store shelf, if we can do that and we can create that, or if we can even create that memory for their future, for their kids, for their family,
mhm.
while they're using it out in the outdoors, man, we've won. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the whole idea. Coffee, honestly, coffee was just like a vessel to do it, and it was a lower barrier to entry
Hmm.
at the time for us to get into that. Where we're a couple of Mike and I were a couple of young kids, 25. We didn't have a ton of money. We had a bunch of university debt, and we're like, how do we roll over a company and kind of get up and running for as little as possible and try and make it salvageable.
So did you start it in like your garage,
Yeah,
or
and
it was beans?
Mike's mom's garage. We started, and we got these like little countertop roasters,
Oh,
and we
nice.
said, yeah, man, we started with like 5 little countertop roasters while we were waiting for a little bit of a bigger roaster to come in from overseas, and that's kind of how we started, man. So
And did you know anything about it when you started?
no, it's kind of like DJing. You just kind of get
You just
started.
start. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just start and you figure out, okay, I burnt this.
That tastes good. That
Yeah.
tastes a little dark.
I roasted this okay, but it was for way too long, so then it kind of tastes like muted and
Oh,
yeah.
okay, interesting. So would you say now, because you're 10 years in,
Mhm.
are you like, be free to brag here, but like, are you the best? Are you good at it now? Like
Oh,
are
yeah,
you like
yeah.
an artisan level?
I wouldn't say I'm like the best roaster out there. I don't know if any roaster could call themselves the best. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's pretty subjective.
yeah, it's pretty like you can replicate it quite easily once you kind of understand
Oh, I
how
see.
to
Okay.
how to roast and profile a
doing it right.
coffee. Yeah, I could take any coffee and I could roast it really well, and I could probably meet the best roaster in the world.
Nice. That's good to know.
Yeah, and I think they could do the same, right? So there's really no IP to coffee roasting. The IP comes to your value set and your vision. And at the end of the day, we're all branding companies.
Right.
We're all
Commodity. It's
marketing
pure
companies. Yeah.
commodity. Like coffee to a degree is coffee is coffee is coffee. So it all comes down to like how you connect with who it is that you're
Yeah,
selling to.
and it's there are levels to like the quality of the coffee. So if you buy cheap coffee, it doesn't matter how
Beans.
good of a roaster you are,
Right.
it's going to taste like trash. But if you buy really high grade, it's kind of like lumber in that sense. You want to buy warped lumber, or you want to buy, really straight, true,
Right.
well-grown, durable lumber. It's going to cost you money, and coffee's no different, right? So people, when they grow coffee, and then we cup it, you can taste the quality. And there's a number of defects in the coffee as well. It'll be like 20 defects per 100 beans, or 2 defects per 100 beans. And through that's how they start to grade the
That's like
commodity.
you would grade a batch the same way they grade like grain
Exactly.
at harvest or whatever. They're like, take a sample size, they look through it and they say, based on this, the whole batch is
Yeah.
B
Yeah, this is grade 2,
or 2.
grade A. It depends on where you are in the world. Some people
Cool.
call it grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D, E. Like Folgers is probably like grade C. So a lot of the time they'll buy the coffee that's like
Not-
left over and
yeah.
nobody is buying.
Right.
And then they'll take that, roast it, grind it up, and that's why they grind it. So you can't see the defects.
In the beans.
Correct.
Are the defects cosmetic, or are they
Well, there's like
impact
mycotoxins in there. So there's like mold. There's can be a number of things in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you do want to be a little careful about the coffee you're drinking these days then?
Big time.
Like drinking
you
mold
see
is
a
not
really
a good
cheap-
thing.
If you, yeah, no, it's
I
not.
would get. I'm no
Drinking mold-
doctor, but
Certain molds is okay. The mold that comes off of coffee is not okay.
in particular off
In
of
particular.
coffee.
Yes.
Not like cheese mold where you can eat a little cheese mold and
Correct.
You
If
might
it's
turn a little French.
you're like, if it's white and if it's green, or like you might be able to get by.
Right.
But if it's black, like,
You
that's-
don't. Yeah.
you don't.
If
So
it's
like,
fuzzy,
yeah.
it's
So
overly
coffee
fuzzy.
mold is like black.
It's black. You
Yeah.
just don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What does it do to you? Just make you like cats or
Oh,
something?
you can have like nervous system issues.
Oh,
You can-
really?
oh, yeah.
So it's serious.
Yeah, it can be.
So you guys, because you just got back from Guatemala, right? Like
Yeah.
you were sourcing beans on that trip.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Are you verifying?
Yeah, we're going
You're
down.
verifying the grades that they have, or is it more relational? Like
It's a combination. So it's like you're verifying the farm to make sure that their processes and their like
yeah,
standard operating procedures are like up to snuff. Like you like that they're actually organic. What are they doing?
right.
You can just tell. Like it's like walking into somebody's house, right? If you
Is
go
it
into a
orderly?
hoarder's house, you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna buy this.
I'm not drinking their coffee.
Maybe if I go into a hoarder's house, I'm not gonna hang out for too long.
Yeah,
right?
right. You just get a vibe.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of it, and then it comes down to the family piece, big time.
In terms of the farm.
Yeah, because it comes down to a relationship, and then also how they treat their workers, and you can see the workers on site, and you can see, are they depressed? Are they happy? Are they getting paid well? And you ask those questions too, right? Like, what are you paying your workers and per month? And it's crazy. Like a lot of people wouldn't believe it, but like a coffee picker or worker, they get paid between 300 to 600 US a month.
Oh wow.
It's very poor. Yeah.
They
It's quite eye-opening.
Yeah, no kidding. Have you been to some farms where you said we're not buying these beans? Like I guess you've probably
Oh yeah.
you've seen a
Yeah.
few
Well,
that are-
I've been to a number of farms. They usually look good, but you can see certain farms, like they'll be going around and they're like spraying with like pesticides and spraying with like uh just like MPK, which is like that's just a fertilizer, but like we decided to go down the organic route. And it was a good thing. And in hindsight, sorry, I didn't really know what it meant to be organic, but as we've kind of gone down this path, just seeing the process and the attention and care. And I grew up in a potato farming family.
Oh really?
And so seeing it like full circle down there is pretty incredible. They use chicken manure. So they'll have like 20,000 chickens on site that they get eggs from, and then they'll use the chicken manure. They will compost all of the pulp from the cherry with California worms, and they'll collect the worm juice and they'll irrigate that into the plants. So
Wow.
you see that, and then you see guys going out with backpacks, workers
Spraying.
going out with backpacks, just spraying and whatnot. So you can kind of see when you go to the farms like what quality coffee is and what low grade coffee is, and it also depends on like elevation. So
That's like a quality thing too, right?
yeah. So like lower elevation coffee is usually lower grade.
Yeah, you want the higher elevation stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've been told that before.
Yeah. Yeah. So lower elevation, it's like more of these like really disease resistant kind of species of coffees. And they produce just a ton of cherries, but it just tastes terrible. But that's what they use in a lot of instant coffee, and yeah, it's kind of like the bulk of like the commodity is low grade coffee, and I would say like a very small amount is
That
grade.
premium grade.
Yeah,
It's interesting, like this is kind of a theme I see here, poke its head through here and there, but it's like the best stuff, the most maybe it's more costly, or maybe it's just costly to have like the organic stamp. But like it's so interesting to me that like the best stuff isn't necessarily a rejection of technology, but it's an adaptation of like the original ways of doing something.
That's
like,
what's
what if we just have all these chickens?
That's what's so crazy.
And it's so efficient to have the chickens right here. And then rather than like, what if we go buy something from Bayer, mix the concentrate in with water and put it in this plastic backpack with a pump on it and all these kinds of things. It's like very modern versus very traditional.
Yeah. And it's funny because it kind of leaks into why we created this, is like to bring back the past.
That's heritage, right?
To bring back the right way of doing things.
Right.
And I think as society has kind of, gone along, we've just tried to like, what do you think? Like, if I were to ask you, what do you think technology does? What would you say?
Technology increases our output versus our input.
I
Maybe.
think technology makes us lazier.
Yeah, it's probably hand in glove. Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
yeah,
Like, yes, you can increase your output, but at the end of the day, everything that is technologically advancing, it's making us a lazier
yeah.
race. If you can get off that email easier because you're using Chat GPT or whatever, you're not actually writing the email yourself.
Sure.
And I just think
I
like
would argue just to because I don't I see what you're saying. I think like the car is technology, the
yep,
plane is technology. All these things can be put to work with incredible. The tractor is technology, and before the tractor, the plow was technology. Like
absolutely.
so, I think it's the spirit in which you use technology is the thing that matters. Because you can use technology to be incredibly productive, which is not at all lazy, or you can use technology to be lazy, but that's a total mindset thing. I think.
I agree, and I'm not shitting on tech here.
No, because we're all in it. We're in it whether we
Right?
like it or not, right?
Well,
Like even this, like
it's just finding the balance
yeah,
is
I
where
agree.
where
Yeah,
it needs to happen,
yeah,
and so one of the things that we try to do with our company is just like kind of slow down a bit,
yeah.
and then try to bring back that culture, bring back that feel, like the thing that makes Alberta so unique.
So sometimes I think about like I'll find myself with like a mindset of like, oh, how efficient can we be in this thing? And I think like even for long like extended periods of time, I've found myself in a place of like optimization where I'm
Mhm.
like trying to do this thing a little better, a little faster, a little less effort, and those kinds of things. And I think like I'm getting better at pulling myself out of those states because they're all dead ends.
Yeah,
Like optimization is a dead end path.
totally.
Is it's optimization is like smaller, more controlled,
Not
less
growing.
variable experiments
Yeah.
in terms of making something better. Whereas like innovation is like throw a wrench in it and then explode it and see what happens next and then learn from that mistake and move on with a better iteration of it. It's very big changes and very like lateral movements as opposed to these sort of like diminishing returns of
Yeah.
investment. And I do think that this, like to your point on technology, I think it is like it's a it's a it's a dead end road. I think it's a dead end road. And we've been on a lot of dead end roads as a society as we've pursued this sort of like efficiency or fairness or equity, all these kinds of things that are like kind of part and parcel to that way of thinking.
Mhm.
Anyways, I don't know. But I at the same time, like your business, I'm in business. We're all trying to find a way to do it better, try to find a way to be more profitable, whether that means we can serve our product or our service for less, or whether that means we can do more and scale and bring it to more people. We're always trying to solve both. You have to have a foot in both.
Totally. I think, and I 100% agree. I think really what we're trying to do with our company is like, how do we find that balance between,
Hmm.
retaining the thing that makes us us,
Hmm.
especially like
And
here.
that being the thing, like
Yeah.
something Mandy always says. Mandy's my boss at the gathering. Like, keep the main thing the main thing. She'll remind me of that. It's like, let's not get off onto this, try to make this little side thing better. Like keep the main thing the main thing. Are we serving the main purpose? And if you know what your purpose is, it's like really easy to reset to it.
Oh, it's
And
always
come back and be like, okay, actually that was a side mission. We're back on point. Here's what we're trying to actually do. This is what we're trying to accomplish together.
totally. And that's all we've done is we kind of saw Alberta going in a direction that didn't feel comfortable in knowing like in growing up here our whole lives. So it was like, how do we create a brand that can speak to the people that are like us?
Yeah.
And because that's where power comes from,
Mm-hmm.
is like when you can finally get a group of people that appreciate what you do and the values you stand for and the vision that you have, then you can actually start to make change at a higher level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It's interesting. Yeah, there's lots I'd like to say to that. I think something on my mind here, just as we've been chatting, is like it is fun. I'm thinking about like those baristas who are serving these cups of coffees with a certain amount of attitude. It's like there's I don't know if it's the right word for it, but it's like feels like Eurofied, like it's like a European take on the cup of coffee. You go to Europe, no one drinks coffee like they do here.
No.
Coffee is like a cowboy thing. It was tea, even in the East, I think for like as this like continent was settled, it was tea. But then coffee became something that became more prevalent out on the range and like in Western culture.
Mm-hmm.
To sit down and drink a cup of coffee, not a latte, like not an espresso, not a shot, but a cup of coffee. That's a very Western. It's a Western thing. So it's interesting to see some of those European values kind of invade the space of what is like.
There's a book called The History of Coffee, and it is pretty crazy. The amount of wars that have been fought over coffee it's insane.
Because humans love stems, man.
Oh, yeah.
We can't get enough of it. As soon as we find a stem, we're ready to go to war for it.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Tobacco,
but in
tea, coffee.
North America, traditionally, a lot of the coffee that came like during World War I and World War II came from Brazil, and it was terrible. And it was like really moldy, bad, wet when it was transported. So traditionally, North Americans just haven't had it.
Have had bad
coffee for a very long time. And that's why these monster brands have stuck around for so long. Is because they, entered the market
at that
early 1900s.
Yeah. That's like Folgers.
The Maxwell House. Folgers, whatever, right? And they just, Canadians were used to that. And that's why when specialty coffee came out, like the acidic stuff, it was so shocking for North Americans.
To the palate here, because it was not over roasted and all this stuff. Yeah.
They're like, what?
Have you ever tried, is it called chicory?
Yeah, chicory.
Chicory?
Yeah.
That's like more native to North America as a plant or something. Or
well, they used to cut chicory with coffee.
To make the coffee go further.
Yeah, and
what is chicory? It's
I think it's like a bark of some sort.
Yeah. Okay, like a bunch of sticks, basically.
Yes. Yeah. But back in the day, I think like the Christians and the Protestants and whatnot, everybody had a different thought about what coffee was and how bad it was for you or good it was for you. So there was like these the propaganda machine like rolled out, and it was like coffee will cause birth defects and don't have it. It'll kill you. It's this, it's that. So that's where chicory kind of came in and filled the role for coffee. For quite some time. Yeah. And
interesting.
Then as more studies came out, and it was like coffee's actually
it's
good
okay
for you.
Yeah. Is it good for you?
Yeah, it has a lot of antitoxins in it. Or what do they call them? Antioxidants, sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've been drinking a cup of black coffee every day of my life since I was in like grade 7.
Good man.
Like and I think I started early, and my mom says, because I've asked her about it, because you're not supposed to drink coffee when you're young or stunts your growth, and who knows, maybe it did. But
I don't think so.
I don't think it's
pretty tall.
It's like well, it took me a long time. I'm still growing.
I'm just growing out.
Yeah, that's right. But it was like it settled made me focus better. Like if I had a coffee in the morning, that it was kind of like natural Ritalin or something like that.
I think in North America it is frowned upon, but if you go anywhere else in the world,
it's very normal.
Super normal.
Kids drinking coffee.
Yeah.
I let my kids drink tea, and that's got a lot of caffeine in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, caffeine is I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah. What do you think about nicotine?
Right? I don't think nicotine is a bad thing either in moderation.
You're neutral on nicotine too.
I like throwing in a lip pillow here and there.
Sure, why not? The only thing is that nicotine. It's easier to have coffee in moderation than it is to have nicotine in moderation. I think
yes, nicotine is quite addictive.
Yeah.
But so is caffeine, and a lot of people don't realize it.
It is addictive.
It's because it's a norm now. But if nicotine became a norm.
If I don't have a coffee in the morning, I'll have a headache. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If I have it late, I notice or something. I just don't do that though. I'm like it's the first thing I do in the morning is make a cup of coffee.
Same.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, you got it. It gets you going. Yeah, like so. To come back to what you're saying about the sort of just the changes that you noticed, and sort of the Alberta or the Calgary that you remembered when you were growing up, and then kind of getting fresh eyes on it when you're an adult. I feel the same. I think the premise of the show really was like trying to like explore that, like what is that? Because my thesis is we only have this city because of whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that was is the thing that allowed us to break this land, to make it productive, to survive crazy winters here.
Yep.
To go through all the trials and trouble and the problems that we've had to overcome and conquer in order to like build quite a special society. I think quite an interesting culture here. I think that the things that enabled us to do that are the things that we're feeling that are missing. But they're hard. It's hard to talk about values. Like they're
Is it?
well, it's not hard to talk about it. I think it's hard to pin them down. I think like they're such ethereal concepts. Like they're not very concrete. Like I guess that they are concrete at times, but
Yeah.
so the question would just be like, well, what do you think it is? Like, what is that? What are the things that what are the labels you put to it, or what are the things that you've noticed? I guess
That differentiates Alberta from
whether it's Alberta,
Calgary.
I think it's a soft border. Like I think Alberta's a fixed. Somebody drew it on a map. I think that the Western spirit kind of
leaks into
Sure.
most of BC,
most
and
of
leaks
BC,
over
all of
the way,
Saskatchewan, lots
even
of the
into
Yukon.
even into Ontario. So
I think it's
fortunately-
interesting how much it leaks into certain people in Ontario for sure.
yeah, I think
Not everybody. But.
yes, you're absolutely right. Fortunately for me, I like kind of grew up all around Canada as well. My dad was stationed at a number of military bases, so he was stationed at Kingston,
Oh, okay. Nice.
Gagetown, and New Brunswick.
Kingston's got good folks in it.
I was born in Shiloh, Manitoba, or in
Oh,
Brandon,
really?
Manitoba.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I moved here when I was 1. So I was
Matt
born there.
Penner, Brandon, Manitoba.
And
He's one of my listeners.
and then yeah, I kind of stayed in Calgary, and I grew up here my whole life. And man, there's no place like Calgary. There's no place like Alberta in general. And there's differences between Southern Albertans and Northern Albertans, and I noticed that a lot when I was fighting wildfire.
What's the difference between a Southern Albertan and a Northern Albertan?
I think there's like subtle values that are very similar. But I think the way people live in Northern Alberta is entirely different. It's just like, I find a lot of the time it has to deal with the climate. So you get into Northern Alberta, there's a lot of muskeg. It's wet. It can be hot as well. There's also pockets that are like super bone dry, but Southern Alberta is windy, hot, mountain ranges. And you have mountain ranges up there, but I think it changes the culture slightly.
Yeah.
And I think traditionally, like if you look up north, there's a reason why there's pockets of Mennonites and Hutterites and Germans and Ukrainians, and like, because as people settled, the only way to survive in these locations was through community.
Totally.
Right. And
this is huge, I think, to the idea.
Yes. And I think so that's kind of what separates the values, or maybe not the values, but the different subtle differences between the regions within Alberta.
Yeah. And I would say,
whereas down south,
you're closer to markets,
a lot more cattle country.
Cattle, yeah.
You're closer to the U.S.
I think
for
that's
trade.
true, yeah.
You're closer
to the rail lines.
A number of things, right?
Yeah. That's just probably going to attract somebody over time, like the type of people over time that are like business oriented or something. Like, it's not surprising I don't know why, but it's not surprising to me that Calgary is the nexus for oil and gas in Canada as opposed to Edmonton, even though it's, we're not very far removed from one another, but Calgary being just a little closer to the action, a little closer to...
It's also a little more affluent. And like
Yeah.
when you look at all the CEOs or VPs or executives that are kind of running these companies, you want to be in a location that maybe is a little bit warmer. You're closer to Banff, Canmore, the United States. Uh, like I think there's a number of reasons why Calgary kind of stands out as like being the hub of the executive aspect. But Calgary's the executive kind of like center for oil and gas. Edmonton and surrounding Leduc and whatnot, Whitecourt, Swan Hills, a number of these areas, they're all very industrialized. Like
Hmm.
that's where your pumper trucks are coming from, mud trucks, rigs, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff's getting stored up there. All the
And
assets are held out there.
and boots on the ground, like the people who actually make it possible. Like
Yeah.
so many of them are located up there too. Like the human beings behind this idea of an economy.
But bringing it back to your earlier question of like what makes Alberta so unique. Is
Yeah,
that
that's the
maybe?
idea. Yeah. What
Um,
is it? What is it that made Alberta what it is?
Man, I've read a couple books. Andy Russell has a number of them. They're awesome. There's another book called On Plain and Prairie, and it's kind of like the late 1870s. The missionaries settling out in Alberta, and it's crazy. It's like written straight from like in their style of writing, and it's different, but
On
I
plain and prairies.
on Plain and
Okay.
Prairie. It's like pathfinding on Plain and Prairie. Is
Okay.
what it's called. It's crazy, man. Like those settlers, the missionaries, they're dealing with the Cree and the Stony natives and a number of native bands, and it was not an easy place to settle.
No.
There's a lot of exposure coming through the prairies, and to even have cattle. Yeah, I think like back in the day, they used to bring up like Texas Longhorns, and they would struggle in Alberta
From the
because of
climate.
the climate,
Yeah.
the weather, right? Um, and so to have the gall to come from the East Coast, and there wasn't a train back then until like the Dominion was created. So you would have to take a horse and buggy pretty much from
Like Manitoba,
Montreal,
was it? Oh, was it Montreal?
pretty much
Okay.
from there. You'd have to take a horse and buggy all the way across the prairies. Survive that if you can,
Yeah.
crossing rivers, all this through the seasons. Get to Alberta, and then it's like, hey, let's break ground with only 6 inches of topsoil, and let's try to plant some stuff here. And people want to live closer to the mountain range because you have wood and lumber there to construct or to heat or to do whatever.
Yeah.
But then the soil conditions aren't nearly as good. So then you have to kind of start encroaching out, but then it becomes hard land,
Yeah.
barren. You're also exposed to tribal warfare, like
It's a wild.
very inhospitable.
Like the mindset
so-
of what it would have taken. I don't think we give it enough respect of, because we don't really have a comparable today. It's one thing to be like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to get a job, I'm going to start a business. That's the energy. It's the same energy.
Yeah.
Like this is why I love working with entrepreneurs so much, because there is just a little bit of like a mental illness there that makes it possible. But
It's toxoplasmosis.
yeah, that's right. Is that the cat disease? You get that from moldy coffee. Cats, get yourself some good coffee, folks. But the gall that it would take to be like, I'm gonna hire a wagon with my last bit of money. I'm gonna outfit it, and I'm gonna go west until I find something that can be mine.
The
That
difference
isn't owned by anyone yet, and I'm going to make it into something. Like, it's a crazy mindset. It's basically rolling the dice with your life. A 50-50 shot.
That's exactly what makes Albertans special.
Yeah.
It's people who came here had nothing else to lose.
Right.
It was either death or make it happen. And when you're faced with those two things,
You make it happen.
and then the culture that breeds around these people and the people that continue to come and come and come, that is what starts to set culture in place.
Okay, so this is where, like, I think we have, like, I'm a Alberta guy. Like, I love Alberta. Calgary's, it's the best place to live. Calgary's one of the best places, but Alberta is the best place. I love it. But I have lots of friends who've come here from Ontario, And I look at these friends that have come here from Ontario, and I'm like, man, they're pretty Albertan. Like lots of
Oh
them are
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
Albertan inside
yeah.
of a generation, or like even some of them like they're the first generation. And I think it is sort of the same thing. Like, oh, I've got nothing to lose. I'll go to Alberta. I'm gonna make it work in Calgary. And like it is it's maybe the stakes are a little lower. Like maybe you're not gonna die from dysentery or
No, not
like have
not anymore.
your wagon swept down the river kind of thing. But you are like it is still like a do or die mission for a lot of these folks, and I think you kind of get this bleed out of Ontario, people who've had enough of
Yeah.
whatever it is, and they're like, I'm gonna make it happen out west, basically. And if you have that kind of spirit, I feel like you should be allowed to. You're an Albertan.
I would never say somebody is not an Albertan, and I kind of
See, I would say somebody's not an Albertan though, because I think there's lots of people that are here
No.
that don't have that.
well, I was gonna say I would never say somebody's not an Albertan if they're able to hack it
Sure, yeah,
if they're
and
able-
willing to,
and willing to,
Yeah.
right? But you have to be willing to
Yeah.
like come here. But I've also seen a lot of people come and go. I've also
Yeah.
seen a lot of people come and then stay, and I've got a number of friends that grew up in Scarborough, came out, and were like, "What have I been doing my whole life? Like, why didn't I do this earlier?"
right?
Right?
Like it
fear,
lit 'em up.
fear kind of always held them back,
Yeah,
right?
I
And
think that's a big
and the
thing.
fear of the unknown, and that's one
What
thing that
you
makes
do with fear.
entrepreneurs different. Is a lot of the time the fear of the unknown is a key indicator for them to step forward.
Right. Like I can't stay here.
Yeah. Or no, more of like, this thing scares me. I'm going to lean into it.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sometimes I think it's the fear that gets you moving. Like, oh, I better get going. Like,
Totally.
but then
It can be.
But I do think you're right. Like, there's a fear and a curiosity at the same time. Like,
I think now where I'm at, like say 10 years in, the way I look at fear now is I'm like, and I'm not talking like uneducated fear, like I'm doing something stupid, dangling off a cliff.
no, I think I know what you mean.
I'm talking like
The
steps
feeling.
in life.
Yeah.
Whether you want to sing, whether you want to uh, build a business, whether you want to, like, I couldn't tell
Hire
you,
that person or take that move.
fire that person.
Fire that. Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a number of things. It's like people, you get just bogged down by indecision. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's like, if you feel fear, don't let that go unnoticed. Really hone in on that.
Like, be curious about your fear.
Be curious about it. Explore it. Why do you feel that way? And whether it's like a decision to be made in a negative way or a positive way, or it's a path that you want to go on, really, yeah, be curious about it and try to unpack it. And even you can unpack things so well without putting a ton of energy into it, which will bring you to a conclusion to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I think making a decision and being like the key step there. Like we were talking about like technology and like optimization and those kinds of things. Like analysis is kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's the same vein to me. You can like feel fear and then analyze and then analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze. And it doesn't do anything about the fear.
Totally.
It's other than maybe grow it based on like all these different if this, then that scenarios we kind of create in our brain. But action conquers it. Action is like if you're in paralysis, like there's that feeling, it doesn't go away. It either stays the same or it grows, but it's not gonna dissipate. It's action that makes you feel less afraid of swimming.
A decision is better than indecision.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's interesting.
It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
If you're good at making
You get
decisions,
an answer, you learn,
Yeah.
you pivot, and you move forward.
Correct. Yeah, if you're some of my uncles told me, I've got a couple of uncles who are inspirational to me, both of them very entrepreneurial, very successful, battled decades-long careers of forging their own path. And I asked them one day, it's like a core memory in my brain, like what is it that like grandpa instilled in you guys that made you all wired this way? And they, without it pausing, like both of them on the beat said, make a decision. Just get good at making decisions. you can make wrong decisions. If you're good at making decisions, you'll very quickly make a corrective decision.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to worry as much about whether your decisions are accurate or not. And they're like, if you just make decisions faster than everybody else, you will lap people. Not that it's about beating other people, but you will proceed faster than the people who are sitting there wondering about what to do and thinking too long and analyzing and trying to gather facts and those kinds of things, which is not helpful.
Totally.
The best feedback you can get is from action.
Yeah. Man, I think like one thing that, like from a brand perspective, if we're talking brand, like that we try to do, and sometimes it takes like I forget about it, but every time I go hunting and I'm back in the woods for 3 days, it takes about 3 days. You realize how insignificant you are. You really
in a
do.
nice way, like
in a nice way, yeah. It's a humbling way.
Yeah.
You realize how insignificant you are and how insignificant all of this stuff is in the grand scheme of things. And that I always come back from, and I'm like, okay, like this is sweet. But I think that feeling is what our company is trying to bring to people.
How do you mean that?
You know, obviously we're selling products and we're selling but it's more the experience. It's trying to like strip people back from the chaos that is life and realize like the importance of life is actually, you know, having that cup of coffee with your mom or your brother or your sister around a campfire, even better, right? I think for us, it's more like, how do we get people into the outdoors? That's actually one of our main missions, is to unite Canadians through outdoor experiences. And like, how do we get more people into the outdoors so that they realize they have that humbling experience, number one, and number two, that they can be happy, like genuinely happy, and not be plagued with all these mental illnesses that people are more and more plagued with now. Scrolling and watching and seeing. And, you know, I can tell you, I look on my Instagram and the amount of killings I see in a day is crazy. I don't know why.
It's insane.
I probably shouldn't watch it.
I know, but
so then it links into the algo.
Gets you, yeah. Oh, I know. It's like
I'm like, why am I seeing this? Like, I don't
whirlpool.
I don't need to see this.
Yeah,
it's not better.
Oh no! Like, well, the Bible says don't put anything evil in front of your eyes. It's almost like 4,000 years ago or whenever it was like
they knew.
Yeah, like just don't look at it. It's hard. It's like same with like fight videos. Like I'll be with like all of my buddies will be getting served this same wave of negative influence at the same time. So you'll be like, oh man, I'm not on it anymore. It's too many fight videos. Oh yeah, me too, man. Mine's full of like gang beatings or whatever. It's the craziest stuff. It's so clearly bad for us. I'm sure
undoubtedly it is
killing us.
It is killing us.
Yeah.
It is making us worse.
Oh, way worse. We will look back on this era of like wherever we are right now.
The information era.
Yeah. The same way that they look, or worse than how they used to look at cigarettes. Where we look at like doctors used to prescribe cigarettes to people, and like pregnant ladies, there's commercials with pregnant ladies smoking cigarettes and all this kind of stuff. Like everyone now is no one argues that it's good for you. No, like,
and especially with kids, man.
Especially with kids,
like, right? You look at kids that are, you know,
like you're saying the scrolling and stuff like that.
Attached to these things. Well,
it's crazy. It's like smoking with a kid in your house.
Think about what makes, especially like musicians, creatives, anything, so good at what they do was the fact that they were able to be creative as a kid. And when you listen to a story, you imagine what it looks like. When you
or read
play with blocks and you build something,
your own little world.
You're designing your own little architecture.
Yeah.
But when you're scrolling on your phone and watching videos of other people doing stuff all the time, you're really not formulating like those centers in your brain. You're not creating those neural pathways on a regular basis. So, you know, I'm going to be super curious to see what happens in the next 15 years when, I don't know what generation like the young kids are right now, but the kids just above them. Because I feel that millennials have something very good in their back pocket, and it's the fact that we lived through analog,
Yeah, normal childhood,
playing street
normal.
hockey,
Yeah,
mixed with
coming up into the information age.
coming into the information age, playing video games, doing
Right.
whatever, internet, blah, blah, blah. And I think I know myself, I've seen both sides, and I don't like that side.
Mm,
I like this side a lot more, but this side's a reality, so you need to blend it in. But I think a lot of parents are going to start raising their kids in a completely different manner. And
yeah.
I am myself.
Do you have kids?
I have one son.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 3.5.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. I got 2 girls and a little guy. And
Nice.
Yeah, he's just turned
Busy.
It's busy. Yeah, he's turning 1 next week actually. Which is
Oh,
pretty exciting.
just getting out of the vortex.
Yeah, you're kind of yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's always just I'm trying to with this one. I'm just really trying to like live it, not resist it. Like it's I felt we had kids young, and then we had our son just recently. So my feeling was like I had to do a lot of dying to self with my first 2, but now that's mostly dead. So now I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun. Actually, it's pretty crazy. But
it's crazy how much more present I bet you feel that you can be.
Oh yeah,
having learned those lessons earlier.
And you know how quick it goes too. You're like,
next thing you know, they're 17.
Oh, it's insane, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. I try not to think about it too much. Try not to dwell.
Say you get 18 summers with your kids.
18 summers with your kids. Yeah, I've heard. The other thing I've heard is like by the time your kid is 18, you've spent over 80% of the time you will have with them in total throughout the entirety of your life. So you get like 20% or less after they're 18, which is crazy to think about with your mom and dad too. Like
totally,
it goes both ways. You're like, oh wow, it is precious. With like an hour is actually quite precious as you get older.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's interesting, man. I love what you're saying about the getting people outside. I think that's a pretty good noble vision, like, or noble purpose of even just saying like, I'm going to use the vehicle of coffee and the energy of entrepreneurship to bring people to a better state of being and a better state of mind. That's pretty neat. Like, it's one of my favorite things about business is like, especially at that entrepreneurial level. Like if you work for Amex, you're concerned about your shareholders, like, and how many people are in debt and those kinds of things. But if you are an entrepreneur, you're generally motivated by something beyond money. Money is like a nice collect 200 as you pass go on these different levels and that kind of thing. But you're doing it. There's some other driving purpose behind it. And if that purpose is good and you can execute it well with diligence and excellence, you can bring that purpose to life for as many people as it's relevant for. And the nice thing about what you're saying is like, I think that's something that's super relevant for a lot of people. Like I whether you're thinking about the Western spirit or not, everyone does feel that sort of encroaching, oppressive nature of being in the machine rather than touching grass for a minute and being like, oh wow, I'm a blade of grass. Like I'm barely anything. I'm here today, gone tomorrow. I should be living. I should be breathing. I should be feeling. I should be
absolutely
touching it and experiencing it.
Yeah,
even when it sucks.
Any of us should leave this life and be like, man, that sucked, or I wish I would have done this.
Yeah,
like
I was on we're in the thick of it with the event coming up next week, and so it's intense right now. Like there's a million things going on, all trying to get to this one point, and it's do or die. It's coming whether you like it or not. It's kind of like the ultimate deadline, and it's high pressure, and it's sometimes challenging, or feels challenging. But I was just touching base with somebody before we jumped on, and I was like, you know what, I'm breathing, and that's cool, and like I'm alive, and like whatever this is a day to have. Like it's just another day, which is amazing. Like
realization. Yeah,
it's cool to be in the moment and be like, oh, this feels high stress and whatever, but you can actually detach from it for a second and be like,
still living a pretty great place.
Yeah, wild that I get to experience
I got 3 healthy kids.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, like it's it's a gift. Every day is truly a gift, and we have to think about it that way.
Yes, you never know what's going to happen the next. And, you know, my wife is an emerge physician, and
Mm.
she comes home and she tells me, oh, yeah, I saw 5 people die last night.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that'll give you a
so
different
I get that reminder every day. I'm like, oh,
It's finite.
geez.
Yeah, we're here for a
Like,
bit.
yeah.
That's interesting with your wife being in the public service. You know, we live in a time I think where there's quite a bit of fracturing across
Oh, yeah.
those fronts of
Between
like,
public and private.
sure, like, yeah, definitely. Well, and I think like the government and the individual. What's your take on sort of where we're at? What do you like? What do you think in terms of like, not to we don't have to get deeply political, but like, what's a good outcome for the future of Alberta in your mind?
I think control of our province, ideally. I think, you know, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm a separatist by any means. Um, but, you know, I think
There's
I'm a student of history, and I've read a lot of books, and I know quite a bit about, you know, the history of Canada, and I think Alberta has had an unfair shake for 70 years. Um, and I think we need to just get real, and we need to start acting like a community, and we need to stand up for our own communities in that. And so, you know, if we can't get decisions made on a federal level, um, in the benefit of Albertans, then we need to bring that power, I would say, into Alberta
yeah,
to make decisions on a number of things, on resources, on uh, healthcare, on uh, education, on um, really across the board, right? Like, what do we need to thrive as a nation? And until, it's kind of like you need to love yourself before you can love others.
yeah, like take it or
Do you know what I mean?
put the mask on yourself before you put
Right?
it on
It's
your
like, if
neighbor,
we
kind of
can't
thing.
love ourselves
Yeah,
and do this right, how are we going to love the rest of our nation? And
right.
how are we going to unite Canada as a whole?
Hmm.
And so I look at it as that. And if we're having fracturing internally because of resource constraints, money transfers, whatever it is, if we get PST or whatnot, like, it's a tough time right now, right? And I think the more control that individual provinces can have, the better,
Yeah, there is.
with oversight from the federal government. But that's all the federal government was ever supposed to be, was oversight, right? It's
Yeah,
like, okay, we've got a bunch of cogs. Let's make sure that they all turn.
yeah, like this in particular interprovincial. I think the yeah, it's interesting. Like as a student of history, you kind of do see these cycles of consolidation and decentralization, like where power is amassed more and more and more at a central location, and then eventually it's dispersed and things become more independent and variable. And the both directions,
And we're seeing a consolidation right now.
we're in deep consolidation. I'm like, my hope is that we're at the end of like we're at the peak consolidation.
I doubt it.
But I don't know. It could be we could go another 100 years further or something like that.
I don't know. I think timeline wise, I think we are at the tip of the iceberg,
Which way?
consolidation wise.
You think it's going to be more consolidated?
I think it will, yeah.
Consolidation to me, I think means like federal power, like more federal. But
Oh, you think that means more federal power?
yeah, like I would say
I mean,
consolidation.
consolidation means more provincial power.
Oh, I see. What
So
you're saying.
I think
So yeah,
we're
I think
flipping it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I agree with you. I think we have to. I think it's the only way to survive right now. It gets to be too big to govern. Like it's very clear that government is attached to culture. Like it's and if the culture is so different here, like if the culture being the expression of values of a community of people, like if we're so different here than they are in the East, if we value things so differently, how can we be ruled by them? Like how could they possibly propose to govern people that
Yeah,
just
I think it's just things that have been kicked down the road for
100 years?
100
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Just continue to, it's easier to kick it down the road than to
Do
and
something about
it's
it.
easier to, it's
Are
like
we the
admitting
Is
fault.
this the generation that'll do something about it?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I have a strong
Yeah.
feeling about it too.
Yeah. I'm willing to, for sure.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I think it is because it's not a new. The further I've gotten into this, the more I've understood that it's not a new conversation.
No.
It's literally there's comics. We had Ted Morton on a couple weeks ago, and in Ted's book Strong and Free, he starts out with some like comics, and there's this like comic from 1915 of a bunch of Albertans feeding a cow and a bunch of people in Ottawa and Montreal milking the udders.
Mhm.
And it's like all the people that are doing the work to make the cow work are like out in the West, and all the people that are drinking, having the cream and whatnot are in the East. So it's the further I've gone in this, the more I realize that it's this is not a new issue. It's not a new conversation. It's been going since the very beginning of the continent. I think our generation is the one that's going to do something about it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think we can go much further.
And I guess something that's relative right now in the news would be like the teachers thing right now.
Sure.
And I think it's just like a lot of this stuff gets like it like nobody really like delves into it and analyzes it. But I've got a number of friends that are teachers. I've gone to school with a bunch. I've thought about it myself. I've worked for the government. And I think the big problem with the whole, one of the problems with the teacher situation currently is they're looking at it from a fragmented perspective, in my opinion. They're like, our class sizes are too big. And that's not true across the board. In rural communities, some classes are 5 kids, 10 kids, maybe 15 kids, but really not a whole lot more than that. In the metropolitan areas, for sure, they're constrained. They've got 40 kids in there. Yes, they need help, right? But that's not getting highlighted at all. My brother lives up in Edson, and he lives on a ranch near there, and his kids go to school there, and they have 5 kids in their classroom, and now they are on their stay at home, right? Because none of the teachers are working. They're worried that school might shut down because the parents are now looking to just homeschool their kids. They're looking to take power into consolidate the power because the outcome, and look to homeschool. And now, over something, you've now hurt these rural communities super bad, right? And I don't think anybody's highlighted that in the media, and it drives me absolutely insane because I know even where I live south of Bragg Creek and west of Millerville, and the classes aren't that big. But it gets highlighted to everybody in the province, hey, let's spend all this money to do this, but it's not proportionally represented.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, should it be?
There are teachers that have 40 kids, and there's teachers that have 5 kids or less.
Yeah. Well, we've allowed, like, our city has grown so much. Like, Calgary is a different city than it was 30 years ago. Like, it's
almost unrecognizable.
Yeah. And it's clear that as we continue to grow it, there's been no connection between like immigration policy and infrastructure policy to speak of, or any kind of policy. Like it's completely completely detached. So it's like, what do we expect? We've just added,
how many people?
30% population in a decade,
200,000 or something.
Yeah, it's
Calgary.
Crazy
I don't know
how much we've grown.
Don't quote me on this.
But no fact checkers on this show. But regardless, like we shouldn't be surprised that we're here, I guess is what we're saying. Like
and I see the same thing happening in the hospitals.
For sure, the same.
My wife is working, and she tells me, like, man, like, we're bed blocked. Like, all of our beds are full.
Yeah.
We can't pass off patients to other wards, whether it's a hospitalist or internal medicine or, this or that, because certain, they can't, either they're full or they can't take them, or they block out hours so they don't work at night. So then you get bed blocked. Now people are wondering why there's 12-hour wait times. Well, I can tell you that the number of non-Canadians that like non-Canadian citizens that my wife sees has grown substantially,
Mm-hmm.
and they're also starting to take waiting times of Canadian citizens in these hospitals because they're going to get seen triaged no different, right?
Yeah, because
But
it's
it's
the
like
that's the
people
values
are
of the doctors are like,
correct,
we got to
right?
help people.
And so
Like,
you're wondering like what's going on,
yeah,
and it's like you flood the country with that many people, systems are going to break,
yeah.
right? And so we need to rebuild the systems.
Well, and I think like yeah, there's a difference between socialism and charity, right? Like a charitable attitude, I think is a part of Western culture.
Mm-hmm.
It was you needed to be charitable to one another in order to build community and survive. And all the schools were mission based, all the hospitals were mission based. Like these sort of services that are the underpinning of a functioning society that we take for granted, they were all generally Christian missions. And I think that as we've stripped that out of society, we've replaced it with socialism.
Yeah.
And socialism being at various levels, but basically just being this idea that you deserve this. And it doesn't work. Whether people deserve it or not is not actually the question. It just doesn't work. Like
Yep.
you can't have everybody withdrawing from a system and nobody contributing to it.
Oh, I echo your sentiment, and I am so bullish on Alberta because I think entrepreneurship, innovation, invention is the only way through this.
Yeah.
It's the only way through it.
Yeah, it's like not yeah, totally. At the hospital level, at the school level, just like what we've done in oil and gas.
If you can't increase your GDP and you can't bring in cash to the province or to the country, how are you paying? Because you can only print so much money to print public sector employees.
Yeah.
Without inflating your currency.
Well, and Alberta doesn't have.
And
the
look at
power to do
how
that.
inflated our currency
Already
is currently,
yeah.
Right? Like, it's just the thing. It's so crazy to me because I think being an entrepreneur and having done it for 10 years now, understanding a profit loss statement, a balance sheet,
the basics.
When a bank is going to give you debt or it's not, like the basics, but it's economics ultimately that you understand. And I would say the bulk of Canadians do not understand economics.
Well, and our government.
That's a broad statement, but I think, and we don't learn in school financial literacy. We don't learn that debt is bad. We don't learn that credit is only for debt. Getting a credit score is only good for debt.
For getting debt. Yet it's this thing we treasure.
Yes, because it's just like.
Totally, man.
And it makes sense, right? Like you want these banks, these individuals, these lobbyists lobbying the education system. They don't want people to learn that.
No.
Because Amex isn't making money if you're not in debt.
Totally, man.
Right?
Oh,
like,
totally.
So it's wild to me, this whole thing. And I'm excited for the next 15 years. I always look at things optimistically. Mm-hmm. I think I'm just a forever optimist, but I think a lot of this stuff, you got to hit rock bottom sometimes before you get back up and start to realize what actually matters. And that's why I go hunting. That's why I get out into the mountains, because I learn like, oh, I'm really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But I do believe that we're going to start to have strong leaders that are going to start to break through the ranks here in the next 10 years.
Yeah, neat.
That are going to course correct and get this country back on track. Or our province at minimum.
Hey, we get the province back on track. We can move the federal capital to Calgary, reset, take another 150-year stab at things.
They should set it right in the middle of Manitoba. Because you know what? It's super cold there and it's super flat.
No one wants to be there.
And if you want to go and work there, by all means.
Yeah, you should collect a little bit of a paycheck for it.
But I'll tell you, it shouldn't be in Ottawa.
No, I agree. I think it's time to move it. That's one of my that's on my long list of goals.
Oh, that's good.
Last question for you, but while we wrap up here, like we're both Calgarian. You live a little bit outside of the city, so I don't know if you get to vote in it, but your
No, I
business,
don't.
you're a stakeholder for sure
I'm a stakeholder.
in the upcoming election. Any thoughts?
You know, I think
Have you endorsed a candidate, or have you?
I haven't endorsed a
It's
candidate.
been a hard one to endorse candidates on.
I'll tell you, I haven't even. Somebody asked me this. It was a friend of mine. She asked me my thoughts on it the other day, and I never got a response back. So I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Is it a little edgy?" I've watched what Nenshi, who else? Who's Nenshi, Gondek,
Gondek.
have done to our city in the last 10, 15 years. And I'm not on board with it. You know, I don't care how much the city of Calgary needs to try to convince itself that it is a bike lane city. It is a commuter city. It has the largest land sprawl almost of any other city in Canada, aside from, I think, Whitehorse. Whitehorse has a really big land sprawl, but they haven't built on all of it yet. And, you know, I think the amount of construction and devastation that I've watched like this city do to business, to community dwellers. I used to live in Garrison Woods.
Oh gosh.
And like,
yeah,
you look at that and like with zero regard for
the
these
people who live
people's, it's not just the businesses, it's the lives. It's this trickle down effect. The amount of property tax increases, the amount of administration that's bloating the municipal governments right now is out of control.
Yeah.
You know, they should be a fine-tuned machine, and they should be contracting to private companies to do the work, to get it done. But you know what? Let's internalize, let's buy assets, let's build a bigger pension fund, let's do this, let's do this. And eventually, I think Calgarians need to stand up and be like, enough's enough. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we can't even afford groceries for our house and our kids. And so I don't know who I would endorse. I actually don't even know their names because I'm not a Calgary
You're not
resident.
Calgary, yeah.
But I would say,
but enough's enough.
I would say the right-leaning parties, whomever they are, I feel like the right-leaning parties are like the old school liberals. They are not really hardcore conservatives on the extreme spectrum. And I would definitely try to put my name in. Like, if I had to vote, I would probably vote for somebody who could get our budget dialed in, who could prioritize the welfare of every citizen in Calgary. That's what I would do. And you know what? We don't need a big blue ring, a window to the prairies,
right?
And we made in California or Germany, and we don't need this over here and this over here. We do need things that bring the community in.
Yeah.
But if our community is not happy and thriving and able to survive off of their rations, how are you going to have the community that you're trying to drive from all this external spending? It just is like, it just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that we're going to see in the next 15 years is the not so common sense start to prevail.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it's interesting.
You're seeing it in Newfoundland right now.
They're coming to...
Well, they just elected a conservative government for the first time in like 10 or 12 years.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I haven't been following it. It's too far east for me. I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah.
My sister lives in Newfoundland, so I should pay attention a little bit, but that's...
all of my family, half of my family's from New Brunswick, so that's where potato farming happened.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Brandon's big on potatoes too, though.
Big on potatoes.
McCain's is out there.
Yeah.
McCain's factory. Shout out McCain's.
Shout out Brandon, Manitoba. What's up?
The center of Canada. The dead center of Canada.
We call it the armpit of Canada.
That's what it feels like, I'm sure, certain times of the year. Well, listen, man, it's been great to get to know you. I've appreciated the conversation. And lots of stuff to chew on here. I think Yeah, it's going to be an interesting decade ahead for sure. I don't think it's a quick fix, but I think a decade, 15 years, we could get this thing back on track.
You know what the best quick fix is? Get out into the outdoors.
That's right. Get out in the outdoors, have a
Do
cup of
something
coffee.
hard. Get out into the outdoors. Be selfish for a minute. Think about what you want to do and make it happen.
Yeah, and then go make it happen. Western spirit.
Let's go.
Right on, man. Yeah,
Sweet.
appreciate it.